Hi, I'm Reb Myron. I'm a minister through Pathways of Light, and I'm a Course in Miracles student and have been for 40 years. One of the things I've done for several years in a row is I've gone through the lessons, reading them, asking Jesus to clarify for me, help me to see whatever he wants me to see this time. And then I write it down. And that's what I'm sharing with you today. So we're on lesson 8. And in this lesson, it says, my mind is preoccupied with past thoughts. This idea is, of course, the reason why you see only the past. No one really sees anything. He sees only his thoughts projected outward. The mind's preoccupation with the past is a cause of the misconception about time for which your seeing suffers. Your mind cannot grasp the present, which is the only time there is. It therefore cannot understand time and cannot, in fact, understand anything. So if you're a new student, and even if you're not, after reading this, you should be profoundly shaken. Even now, even though I know this is true, reading it stated so directly shakes me a bit. It's easy to slip into the story of the world and just go with it. But there is no world. It was over long ago. Okay, then, what are we seeing when we open our eyes? Only the past, which is not there. So we are seeing nothing, just images of our thoughts. Seriously, every time I stop to truly consider this extraordinary truth, I feel like someone shook me awake again. It's the strangest feeling. So paragraphs 2 and 3. To one holy true thought, the one holy true thought one can hold about the past is that it is not there. To think about it at all is therefore to think about illusions. Very few have realized what is actually entailed in picturing the past or anticipating the future. The mind is actually blank when it does this because it's not really thinking about anything. The purpose of the exercises for today is to begin to train your mind to recognize when it is not really thinking at all. While thoughtless ideas preoccupy your mind, the truth is blocked. Recognizing that your mind has been merely blank rather than believing that it's filled with real ideas is the first step to opening the way to vision. This makes perfect sense. Thinking about something that does not exist is to think about nothing. It's hard to accept that all this thinking is really not thinking at all. It seems so important to us. I've practiced watching my thoughts long enough, though, that I am convinced that the chatter in my mind is truly thoughtless ideas. Reading Dan Joseph's book, Healing Within, taught me how to do that. And reading The Untethered Soul helped me to see the nonsense for what it was. It is more than nonsense, though. These thoughts hide our real thoughts. They block the truth. We want vision, even though we may not realize or even recognize there is vision to be had. This is what we came for, to remove the blocks to the awareness of love's presence. We begin by recognizing our mind has been blank rather than filled with real ideas. And so, paragraph 4, the exercises for today should be done with eyes closed. This is because you actually cannot see anything, and it's easier to recognize it no matter how vividly you may picture a thought. You're not seeing anything. With as little investment as possible, search your mind for the usual minute or so, merely noting the thoughts you find there. Name each one by the central figure or theme it contains and pass on to the next. Introduce a practice period by saying, I seem to be thinking about blank. Then name each of your thoughts specifically. For example, I seem to be thinking about the name of a person, about name of an object, about name of an emotion, and so on. concluding at the end of the mind-searching period with, but my mind is preoccupied with past thoughts. This can be done 4 or 5 times during the day, unless you find it irritates you. If you find it trying, 3 or 4 times is sufficient. You might find it helpful, however, to include your irritation or any emotion that the idea for today may induce in the mind searching itself. So here's a sentence that jumped out at me. Sentence 2, this is because you actually cannot see anything, and it is easier to recognize that no matter how vividly you may picture a thought, you are not seeing anything. When I went to the Van Gogh Immersive, I was given VR goggles. When I put them on, I found myself in his paintings, not standing before them, but in them. I was in a beautiful world, alive with color and movement. It felt as real as sitting at my computer doing this work. This is what our eyes are for. They are our virtual reality equipment. Our mind holds the information that is then transformed by our eyes as a 3D experience. Only instead of just seeing it, we hear it and smell it and taste it. No wonder we get pulled into it. Just moving through Van Gogh's paintings through the use of the VR equipment was mesmerizing. I could have stayed there for a long time. In this virtual reality we call the world, we will forget that it's not real unless we remind ourselves often. When I took off the goggles, the room I was in was still there. My daughters were sitting next to me. Nothing had changed just because I was unaware of it. The world is a representation of our thoughts, and our thoughts are not real, so we are deep into an illusion. This is why we need to take these lessons seriously and let them do their job. As we let go of what is not true, our real thoughts will show us reality. They have gone nowhere. Reality has gone nowhere, while we have been lost in our imagination. Thank you for watching my video. And if you enjoyed this and like it, and please subscribe. And I will see you tomorrow.